Good morning. I'd like to thank you for inviting me to speak here at your 50th anniversary of Fellowship Church of the Brethren. I just wanted to share some informal comments with you. As I thought about Fellowship and growing up there, I really thought about three main things. One is discipleship, two, community, and three, joy. I start with this discipleship because I think it is at the core of really what I saw all around me. I began going to Fellowship Church of the Brethren because I was invited. I was a kid, I was probably in the 4th grade, and had played at my next door neighbor's house. She, Mrs. Betty Clark, many of you know, she was a grandma to kids my age with her grandchildren, but also when they weren't there, I would go over, and Betty Clark and I would spend, really, she was so generous with her time, and she would spend so much time with me. I'd run errands with her, and I just saw kind of a different, I don't want to say a different way of living, but every household's different, and I think it's great when kids get to see, how other people live. She would sit down and have tea with me. She would, I would be there when she would plan her Sunday school lesson, and we would work on it together. I got to try the crafts out before her actual Sunday school class. So her generosity of time and just interest in a young person, I think, was really my entry point into Fellowship Church. So she invited me to go to church. I'm sure probably it was through a Bible school or one of the many things happening there. And so through that, I just became very intertwined in that community, very welcoming. And as I look back, I was always really fascinated to get to know the different people and kind of watch them and how they reacted through not only their happy times, but also really a lot of pain. I was reminded the other day, my sister had shared that she had attended a church service by Zoom. She does not normally attend church services, but she was commenting about how she was startled that she was uplifted by the joys and concern time. Because even though people were sharing about problems that they might have and their pain, she was really moved by how authentic it was and the care expressed, even through technology. She was able to pick up on that. And I thought that was very moving. And it reminded me a lot of really the genuine spirit that I grew up seeing at Fellowship. The second thing that I think of is community, and this goes hand in hand with discipleship, being together and walking your faith. Fellowship certainly has the right name, Fellowship, and when I was growing up as a kid, there was so much good community extended to me. My memories, go from Betty and Leighton Miller's farm and the wonderful, wonderful times I got to spend in nature there, and making friends, of course, and just being, again, together during important life events. I think it was there that I really learned that faith is about, the manner of our living and doing that together. And that without being together, that there really isn't church. And certainly in recent months, I became reminded that church is not a building. It is about those connections and relationships that we continue to make with each other and to continue to feed and nurture. So many stories came to mind as I thought about all the things that I did at Fellowship. Of course, I was active as a kid, and I was there until I went away to college. And certainly that informed where I went to school. I ended up going to Juniata College, which was started by the Church of the Brethren back in the 1800s. And really there was an extension of a lot of the larger questions that I was planted, those seeds that were planted in me at Fellowship. And then, of course, continue to explore those questions at Bethany Seminary. So I always credit fellowship as being really the foundation of my faith formation. The last point that I would like to share is that while there's a lot of things I can think of, the discipleship and the community, I also think of just joy. And I don't necessarily mean joy in the sense that a lot of happiness, although certainly as a kid, it was just about calling my best friend and seeing what she was going to wear to the next thing, and being excited because church was a place where I could connect with her. Because remember, it's hard to think about, but before you could drive, we were always working out rides. The reality of life as a kid is that you sort of are always kind of hustling and wheeling and dealing to get where you need to go, to get what all those things. And we were certainly, fellowship was right in the middle of all that for us. But I would say joy also in the sense that, again, even, life wasn't perfect for a lot of the parishioners, but to watch how really they were joyful in various situations through death and through illness. And I will share this, and maybe this connects more with discipleship. I have often shared in my congregations that I'm active in now, during the Love Feast time, I have a very clear memory when I was a kid of being in a Love Feast service, and it was before the meal. It was upstairs during what I think is known as the examination time. I remember being towards the back of the sanctuary, and I remember seeing a sister get up during a quiet prayer and walk over to another sister. And I have no idea what was being said, but clearly there was some kind of reconciliation happening. And it seemed very genuine and on both sides. And that image of that is probably more powerful than any sermon that I've ever heard on reconciliation, or absolutely could ever share with someone. And often when in committee meetings, when we're trying to plan Love Feast, and it's all about how much beef to buy or how many chairs to count, that image comes back to me, and I really consider those sorts of moments as a gift, and that it is a witness that even goes, transcends time, because certainly, that was an experience I had back in the 80s, and I can't even recall exactly who it was. But moments like that, I think that we may be underestimating who's watching, what kids are absorbing it, maybe what adults are absorbing it. And, also just pray that our eyes continue to be open even as adults, that hopefully somewhere we can pick up and absorb maybe the lessons or the gifts that are out there for us. So I do want to end with my last point, and back to joy. Joy through the pain, but also joy, just fun. And of course, I think as a kid, Fellowship did a wonderful job of just really encouraging their kids, and I think more than encouragement, really providing an opportunity. A lot of times we like to say children are the future of the church. I think Fellowship understood that children are the now. Children are in the church, and they're a part of the church now, a very important part. And even if you don't have a lot of children, there's just always places where, there's opportunities to provide. I remember my best friend and I, we were given the opportunity to do the church newsletter. What church allows a 9th and a 10th grader to do the church newsletter? But we did it. We put our heart and soul in it. We loved it. And, I'm sure it was riddled with errors and all kinds of problems. I remember a lot of photocopying and a lot of tape, and just a lot of good learning and good encouragement. I learned a lot from that process. I also remember our youth group planning the sunrise service, and what a tremendous amount of trust that the congregation put in us. And as someone now, as an adult who's leaned into committee meetings, I can't even imagine how much work that took. So just looking back, how much I appreciate just all those opportunities that I was afforded, and also the energy just poured into me because my parents did not go to church. I wasn't part of I wasn't a blood relative, but I know that, I benefited from many adults and the family of faith treating me like family, and I think that's how we extend the faith, by treating people who aren't our children, who aren't our relatives, just as we would our own family. So to wrap it up, finally, I do want to talk about joy, and I have to share this. I recently found a picture, and I think this just for me really captures it. So as I said, I met my best friend at Fellowship Church of the Brethren. I think it was maybe back then. There was a Sunday school, and right before the Sunday school, there was like a singing circle, and in that circle, I remember my best friend Kara coming over to me and introducing herself. And I found this picture, and I hope that you can see it. I hope it shows up. And of course, we look very happy. That's me in the purple, and that's my BFF, as I call her, Kara Graham, now Kara Parker. And this picture tells a few stories. She's got her ball cap there, and you see, if you may remember, some of you, that is from the Fellowship Church of the Brethren softball team. So that must mean that it was a great day. We're in shorts, so it must be maybe after a ball game. We're in the kitchen, so we're having fun. And that purple shirt is, that was my very favorite camp shirt from Girl Scout camp. That was my other favorite place growing up. So if I was wearing my special favorite purple camp shirt, I was hugging my best friend. It's summertime. I just look at this picture, and it is pure joy. And so I'm so very grateful for this picture and to be reminded of those times. I just want to wish you a very happy 50th anniversary. I understand that because of the current realities, this celebration will be stretched into next year, which is maybe also exciting. And so again, thank you for the opportunity, and many blessings.